Hi, this is Johnny Burgin with another Chicago Blues guitar lesson. Just got back from Memphis and it was really moving to see Fenton Robinson inducted in the Blues Hall of Fame where he rightly belongs. There's so much great songs and music and style that he had. Where do you even start? I guess one of my very favorites is Direct from My Heart to You. So I'm going to set up the loop with it now in the key of G. There's two versions, the 45 on USA, and then the Alligator version, which is also great. Let's try the horn part. This is just the horn part in the solo, because I'm working my way towards the solo. This is cool. I wanna love you, baby. Wow, where do you start with such a solo like that? It's like one cliffhanger after another. I'm going to talk about the elements of the solo and then do a few more of my just some snatches of some of my favorite Fenton moments. But first, let's talk about the skeleton of the song, this riff. Two ways to play it. You could do it the guitar teacher correct way with your second finger on the third fret. That puts your first finger ready to go, and your pinky like that. Like that. Or you could do it the blues way. You could do it with your first finger. Either which way. So here's the second finger again. I'll go a little closer. Then you just do a small motion backwards towards your neck, towards your tuning pegs here, and slide in. And none of that changes as you go through the 4 and the 5, right? You just start on the third fret of the A string for your, and then on the 5th fret of the A string. I really like the way wherever he's at in the song, he just goes back to this, which is great. In fact, it's the same thing in Texas Flood, but I'm getting ahead of myself. This is 5, 5, 5, and then you do 3, 3, 3, and you do a hammer on with your second finger on the 4th fret of the G string. And sort of tickle it, make it, just pick it up and down. So when you put the whole thing together, you have. Change. Even though you're on the 4 and you're doing this, it makes sense because you're about to go right back to the 1. And it still sounds good there, over the it sounds good in the 4 and the 5, even though this is something that would happen over the 1. So that's the skeleton of the song. The horn part was basically my little improvisation, you know. I'm using this cool 7th chord, but this is not on the record. This is me just winging it and putting a loop together. And I wanted to have that going on with the loop when I was playing. This is a cool chord. It's 3, 4, 3, 3 with 2 fingers. Sounds like the horn part. It's just like that Johnny Clyde Copeland, Down on Bending Knees, or like the way Magic Sam will play, I Just Want to Know, you know. So let's talk about the solo. This has this devastating opening lick. I can't tell if he's sliding here. And then now I'm always get a little bit of you know, a little bit of flack about being the vibrato police, telling people not to vibrato so much. Well, at this note, sting the hell out of it, man. Just, it's a pressure point. You know, it's just, it should be like a laser beam. Or you can use your elbow if you want to really get into it. And then something like that. You know, it reminds me of Willie James Lyons when he's really going nuts, you know. It's all like super pentatonic, but it's done in this kind of descending ladder-like way. The trick is to, don't do this. You got to slide your first finger back to the 1st fret of the A string. Yeah, Willie James Lyons does it in Chicago Woman, and Fenton Robinson goes completely bonkers on it, and Nothing But a Fool. I think that's some of his fastest and most furious playing. Same like that he opened up with. And now we're going on the 4 for real. And that's when he does this famous ladder climb thing. Yeah. The trick is getting a little bit behind the beat there and savor it a little bit. So that's picture it out of a C chord. And then this is, even though you're in C, he's kind of in the middle of a G chord, a C-shaped G chord here with your pinky on the 10th fret. So that's another chord. Don't play it, just think it. And now if you're here with your 1st finger on the 7th fret, then you're perfectly ready for your 2nd finger to slide up to the 9, and then your 1st finger on the 8th fret here. This is your typical BB kind of later BB position. That, right? So all told, up 2 frets and up a string. Up 2 frets and up a string. Up 2 frets again and up a string. This time we're in this chord. So traveling to the chords, you have a C chord like this, a G chord like this, a C chord like this, and a G chord like this, and finally this G chord. So the whole deal is and he's always doing stuff like that. I don't know if he does it exactly in this song. And then he ends up back here again. And then now we're going to the 5, right? And then on the 4, he slams into the 4. Let's talk a bit about the flip side, which is called Say You're Leavin'. This is really where you can make the case for, being like the Wayne Bennett, Matt Murphy school of super revved up T-Bone and Lowell Fulton. So this is just in C, and it's got this nice little fast swinging part. Like Reconsider Baby, but to the max kind of. So you just slide in with your first finger on the C note from the B. And you got to take these 3 fingers and make that 9th chord on the D, G, and B strings and slide it up 2 frets and back. Same thing, same concept. You're walking into the F note from the E. You could slide with your first finger, or you could go first, second finger. Use your 3rd finger and flatten that top 3 strings. And no turnaround. Okay, let's see if I can try this solo. Break it down. It goes. And then he does. Or here. Something like that. Down to 5, he goes down to G, and the 4, he goes down to F. Just like a chicken shack or something. So. I love that. And then this chord. I got it! I finally got it! Alright, let's try it with the loop. Here we go. Let's see if we can get this tiger by the tail. More here. Yeah! So, that was a little tricky. I'm not going to explain every bit of that because this lesson's getting a little bit long. And I want to talk about maybe one other tune here. But it's stuff sped up and just done in a classy way. Try to relax your wrist so you go. So good luck with that one. And it's a bit hard to play at that tempo, but notice how he does this. And he lets it really slide out in a real dramatic way. That's something he got to later in the Alligator stuff. So I guess I'll talk about one more. I think we're going to save Texas Flood for a separate lesson. I'll do the Larry Davis version and the Fenton Robinson versions. Let's talk about just a little bit of West Side Baby, which I just love that one. He's great at these after hours that just like wring your heart out. So he does something real cool. Like everybody knows this, right? I'm in A, so that's your intro. This is an example of how he takes something simple or something that everybody knows and does a trick on it that's like, what? Wait a minute, I knew that, but that was totally different. He'll do something like this. Whoa! Let's try that again. Well, I've got a West Side baby. So best I could figure, it's you got your bottom of your A augmented. That's 7, 6, 5 on the A, D, and G strings. That's an E augmented chord, right? There's another E augmented chord if you want to think about it. This here. So that's, you don't have to play this whole chord, but the augmented note there is the 13th fret of the B strings. And then he's going to grab that blue note, which is the flat 5th, and it's the 4th fret of the B string. And he slides it just a half step because he loves these half step bends. So the whole thing goes like, ah. And then he's back into his after hours groove here, right? So I'm going to do a little bit of a bass line. And I'm going to do some typical things that he might do in a slow blues, which is really hard to say because he always sounded like himself, but he really sounded super creative. I mean, he was definitely a moving target, you know, never repeated himself. You like to take one note and really cry it. You like to do those slides. So that wasn't all that great, but it was definitely some of the ways that he would stretch out on a slow blues. He'd really, really take his time, and then I like the way he goes. He did that right before the 4, and it's just so exciting. He put all these peaks and valleys into his solo, you know, and all these after hours slow blues things. Just love Fenton Robinson. It was really great to see him inducted. And it's definitely a meaningful ceremony. Too bad he couldn't have been alive to see it, and I wish I could have seen him in person. If you have some Fenton stories, please share them. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Join me on Patreon, where we have a weekly chat about all this kind of stuff, and everyone gets a chance to play. And take care. See you next time.